Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the Retro Wrestling Room. Today we have another very special guest. Today we have the largest man that's been on this podcast. He is definitely slightly bigger than I am. We have the 6'12" powerhouse. You heard that right, 6'12" powerhouse. The man with the most apt name in wrestling. We have Big Trouble, Ben Bishop. How's it going, mate?
Oh, it's going great. What an intro.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Definitely have the most apt name in wrestling these days. And you got the height right. 6'12", 15% of a metric ton. Good job. A+. Good work. I love the aesthetic here, by the way, pal. I love the retro wrestling room aesthetic that you got. Very cool.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
Thank you.
Productions are
it's not too bad. We're getting there. Slowly. I think it's fair to say that most people first heard of you, well, especially me. I heard of you when you did the dark matches and the enhancement matches on AEW, and the very, very famous intro. So we got I think this is the first match. Maybe that was the second
very
one.
first. That's number 2. Yeah.
And then this is the one that caught on.
The tan got a lot better. I'll say that. That's the one.
So what was it about that third match that made you change up your intro?
I was just thinking that, like, you got to do something different. And I can do like the flex thing, or and it just kind of everyone does it. So I just thought, like, you know what? I'm kind of doing this goofy online presence. Like, why not just do some type of goofy, like, pose, just something that maybe people will remember, and that they can just say, like, oh, okay, now that guy did that pose. And that's those little moment things that people remember, right? Because I knew what the match was going to be. Like, I'm not going to do anything in the match that people are going to remember. Right. It's like, I got to do something else. And I knew that the only time that camera was going to be on me was going to be right when they announced my name. So I just said, you know what, let's do something. Let's try something new. I've never done that pose in my life, ever. That was the very first time I did it. So I was just like, and it just kind of caught on. My buddy Jameson in the back was like, when I came back through the curtain, he was just said, like, he's like, dude, what was that? And I'm like, why, did it look bad? And he's like, no, it was great. He's like, it was great. Like, you hit it perfect, like, right time, right in front of the camera. Everything was great. So I was really pleasantly surprised by it.
Did you have any other feedback at the time?
From who?
From people in the back. Did anybody else, like, pick up on that moment?
Bear Bronson did. So he noticed it, and he's just like, dude, that was so great. Again, it was a quick match, so it was what it was. Roddy was really appreciative. But then, people that watched it were just like, this is really funny. Like, you did a good job kind of showcasing your character in such a small amount of time, which is, like, so hard to do. But that's what they kind of tell us. You got to maximize the minutes any way you can, whether you're on TV for 30 seconds or 30 minutes. Like, you got to do something that makes people remember. So, fortunately, I just kind of struck somewhat gold, I guess, with that.
I remember in the Beyond the Mat documentary, Paul Heyman, when he was giving his speech in the back, and he always said, you got to hide the negative, accentuate the positives. And in that moment, like you said, you only had that split second of guaranteed hard camera time. So you had to do something that people were going to remember you by.
That's it. Yeah, that's 100%. That's 100% spot on. I wasn't going to do anything in that match that anybody would remember. Like, it was just a basic enhancement talent match just to get Roddy over. And so I'm like, that's my chance. That's my one chance. That's my one positive. I can show off my height. I can show off that I have a personality. I can show off that I'm not afraid to be, funny and goofy. I just got to do that, because that's all I can do. I'm not going to show off myself doing a choke slam or a sidewalk slam or a body slam in this match. So I got to do it any other way possible.
We did slightly mention the videos. The other thing that I think most people will know you for, and I know I mentioned it in your name, Big Trouble. I think it's very apt. Is the short videos that you release on TikTok and on Twitter and things like that. What first inspired you to do these type of videos?
Yeah, so it came down to the point where I was so fed up with wrestling, and it was about 2 years ago, um, almost 2 years to the day. I was just so fed up with it, and I just kind of thought like, there's got to be like, what can I do here? Like, I was close to quitting. I was close to be like, I'm so sick of this. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why I'm not getting enough opportunities. Like, I feel like I'm doing everything right, and I was kind of throwing a pity party for myself. So I just kind of said like, I'd always make these type of jokes, like the videos you're
Right.
watching right now. I'd always kind of poke fun at wrestling, but then I thought about like, why don't I just put it in video form so that people can watch it, and like, and or and maybe I can. I did it to pop myself, but I'm like, maybe this will catch on or something. Um, and so I put a few out, and a couple people were like, "This is, oh, you're pretty funny. Like, this is good. Like, what are you doing?" Like, I know no one really got it at first, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to have fun. I'm trying to have fun with it, and just kept doing it, putting out more videos. Then they finally started catching on, catching on, catching on. When I did the AEW spot, they were a good amount of people knew them, and then that's when it started really taking off. Is when I did the spot with AEW last year, and I did the one with watching the match with my wife, and then of course the one coming through the doorway with the title. Then the Creed highlight video of me just doing the pose over and over again. And those are the ones that really started kind of like elevating me, and a lot more people seeing it. So now it's cool, man. It's like, I never thought I'd get to the point of like going to shows and people are like, "Oh my God, like it's so cool to meet you." I never think of myself like that. I'm pretty like down to earth. I always say I'm just Ben. Like, and I don't, there's nothing else to me. Like, what you see is what you get. Like, I'm not like trying to play this like character or anything. It's just me. So like, and then when I go to shows, and it sounds kind of like cocky in an extent, but it's like, it is cool that people like the other day or at one show, what a nice kid. He goes like, I'm like, I'm sitting there kind of just in a chair in the locker room, and he walks up. He goes, "Oh, Mr. Bishop, is it okay if I like say hi, take a picture with you?" I'm like, "Oh man." I'm like, stop, like stop, dude. Like, please don't ever think you have to be like that around me, like
It's
at
like
all. There's not
Mr.
like,
Bishop. That's my father.
I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah. I'm just like, no, dude, like, don't ever. And I just, cause here's the thing. I'm no better than anybody. No one's like, you know what I mean? Like, it does it just because I make stupid internet videos doesn't mean I'm better than anyone, like at all. Like I try to treat everybody with as much respect as I can, as long as they're being respectful to me as well. Um, and I don't like the whole like big dog type of like attitude, or just saying like, I'm like, oh, because I go out there in tight pants and wrestle around with somebody maybe a little bit more than you do doesn't mean I'm better than you by any means. you
Right.
know so it's been, but it's cool. It is cool going to shows now. I see like random people being like, "Oh my God, I can't believe Ben Bishop's on this card." Like, I saw it today. Someone posted a picture I didn't even see before, and was just like, my goal in 2025 was to see BTBB live, and I'm just like, it still, kind of blows my mind. It's cool. It's cool. There's like people to see that.
You mentioned actually my favourite video of yours. I think it is one of the biggest ones. The one where you sat down with your wife to watch the AEW match.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
there's some little moments, and I wrote them down, and cause I didn't want to get it wrong. Um, was it the AEW match? Parents, where they say something along the lines of, you look at it and you're like, "Oh, come on, you don't have to go now." Well, wait a minute, you've already packed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I've seen it so many times, but every time that line just cracks me up. And like,
yeah. No, I had, that was the only line I really gave my wife. Her name's Danny. It was the only line I gave Danny like the whole time, and I was just like, the rest of it just kind of like continue like looking disappointed, you know, just like, and I just said, as soon as you walk out, I'm going to say like, hey, you already had your bags packed. And she's like, I live with, and when she said at the end, I live with a loser, you can see me break. You can hear me like, I was like, what? Because I didn't expect that line. And I just break because it was so funny, but she was a natural. We did it in one take. It was great.
There's even like little things like at one point I saw, well, you can't control it, but it seems like even the dog like turns away.
Yeah. I know. It all worked really perfect. Yeah, like that obviously I couldn't tell the dog what to do, but the dog like walks away. Like, yeah, I was very happy with how that video turned out because I had that idea as soon as I heard about what the match was going to be. That was the first idea I had, is I'm gonna do a watch along with my wife, watch it, and be disappointed because I was out there for a minute and whatever it was, 22 seconds. And so yeah, no, that is actually, to be honest, that's also my favorite. And speaking of that too, is that like a lot of people, what I find really cool is, and I'm happy that I'm not like a one-trick pony. Right. Like it's not like not everyone's like, that's my favorite video, right? I every time I go somewhere, everyone says like a different video is their favorite video. I'm not just saying one thing. I'm not a one like the one line everybody said. I don't have that. I'm not trying to call anybody out that does that. It's fine, but it's cool that like a lot of the videos, everybody, like there's so many people that have a different favorite video, and I just think that's awesome.
Well, I was going to say then, like you've said, you've had a lot of positive encounters because of these videos and because of you wrestling as well. Like that little kid came up to you the other day. But there's also the other side. I mean, there's the other side for everybody on social media, but especially for people who are going to put out creative things on the internet. How do you deal with kind of the negative side? How do you stay so positive? Because every interview I've seen from you do seem to still carry just a big positive vibe.
Yeah. Here's the number one thing. I'm not going to stop because a few people get mad at me. Like they think they're going to get in my head. They'll never get in my head. Never. So here's the realistic answer. I'd be foolish to think that every single person would love me. I'd be foolish to think that in such a subjective medium like wrestling and really like creative content or comedy, whatever you want to call it, I'd be dumb to think that every single person is going to find me funny and every single person is going to think I'm a good wrestler. I say all the time, I don't give a shit if you think I'm a bad wrestler. I don't give a shit if you think I'm unfunny. I don't care, because that you're allowed to think that, and that's fine. But it doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Doesn't mean I'm have these ulterior motives that everyone thinks I have. I'm trying to tear people down. I'm just making silly videos. I have no ulterior motive. I'm just having fun. But when it comes to a lot of these trolls and these people in the bad part, because I don't want to paint the IWC as fully bad. It's not. The IWC is a great place. There's a lot of very good people in it. Unfortunately, the loud ones, the loud minority, is the one that is the most vocal. And they're the ones that try to tear everyone down no matter what they say. They pretend to care about stuff that they don't care about. That's the number one thing. They don't care about these things, but they want to pretend to try to white knight and do all this like mental gymnastics and pretend they actually care. They don't care. They don't. And I don't care I'll say it to anybody. You don't care. At the end of the day, they're not real human beings. They're trolls. Yeah. They live in their little bubble of irrelevancy on the internet. And they have this community that they built, of this little community, because they have no real connections outside of an internet connection, but they have this little community that they have built, that the way to get along in it is to just, you just tear people down. Let's find who's the villain of the day. Let's go after that person. Let's quote tweet him. Let's call him a horrible person. Somebody called me vile and putrid and disgusting and evil. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Yeah. I was called a transphobe for not agreeing with Dave Meltzer on something that had nothing to do with that topic whatsoever. Had to do with a wrestling take. And I said, what are you doing? I asked him, like, why would you say this? And it's just like, oh, I just don't like you. So you just say whatever you want. And that's the problem with the internet. It's like anybody can say anything. You can say anything about somebody and then it'll just roll with it. People will roll with it. And that, I think that is so incredible. Like, and the fact that these individuals do it behind an anonymous profile makes them all cowards. Every single one, every single person that talks crap behind an anonymous profile, you're a coward. And like, you are, like, point blank period. That's the definition of a coward. And you're not tough. You're not interesting. You're not like, to do all that is you're truly like the dregs of society. Like, and that is, and if you want to live your life tearing people down because you want to be in the wrestling business, unfortunately, you didn't have the balls enough to get into the wrestling business, and you didn't have the gall enough to get into the wrestling business, but you want to be part of it somehow, and this is how you do it. Every single wrestler looks down upon you. I don't care if your favorite wrestler is Kenny Omega or Will Ospreay. They don't like you either. I'm going to tell you all that right now. To all you people that think you're white knighting for certain wrestlers, they don't like you. So it's horrible. I think it's just like absolutely, it's unneeded. It's not something that is positive in any way to wrestling. They think they're doing something positive. You're not doing anything to help. You're not doing it. There was one guy who trolled me. Another anecdote. One guy who's like coming at me, calling me a mark, calling me this, calling me that. Then I go to his profile and I see he's asking for money. And I say, okay, you know what? You can call me whatever you want. And I put a laughing emoji, whatever. I'm donating $50 to you. So I donated $50 to this guy. Now this is where I'm going with this. Donated $50 to him. Said, hey, you know what? You can call me whatever you want. You looks like you need some help. I'm a nice guy. I'm going to help you out. I did that. And the guy said, you know what? I appreciate that. Thank you. And I didn't hear from him again. Then somebody comes at me because I put a laughing emoji and said I'm a horrible person because I laughed at his current situation.
Oh, God.
I'm like, I said, I just donated $50 to the guy. And then this person says to me, oh, it doesn't matter. If I broke someone's bike and bought them a new one, I still broke their bike. I'm like, what is your reasoning? What is your? I was like, I just put it in. So I just was like, all right, whatever. Fine. All right, I agree with you. Fine. I'm wrong. You're right. I'm like, and then I said, what did you do? Did you donate? I don't have to donate. I'm like, oh, so you didn't do anything. So you don't actually care. You don't care. So it's just like, that's when I finally had some of those interactions like that, and people think that it's okay to be a coward behind an anonymous profile. Now I'm like, there is nothing that you people spin everything. So I'm just like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Like, go ahead, say what you want about me. Don't care. There's a mute button. You can talk into the abyss. I'm never going to listen. I'm never going to care what you say again. Go ahead, keep talking. I don't care. It helps me. With my engagement. All you're doing is propping up my engagement. You don't want to see more of me, then block me or mute me or do something else. But you keep talking about, oh, I hate this guy so much. Then why do you follow me? I don't know.
It blows my mind.
There's my rant.
Genuinely, that's fine. It really does. I love wrestling. You know, I've always loved wrestling. You know, I've still got the VHS tapes upstate from when I was a kid. You know, I just hold on to these memories. You know, and I've always had positive feelings towards wrestling. Like the whole, the word I'm looking for, rivalry. What's the word I'm looking for? When you only like one side, like the tribalism.
Oh, tribalism. Yeah, tribalism. Sorry. Yeah.
You know, it just blows my mind. I'm like, well, if you like one or the other, just watch that. That's amazing. You've got something you love. Watch it.
It's because you're a normal, well-adjusted person.
Well, yeah.
And it's like most people think that way. That's the thing. A lot of people because of the internet and because of that loud minority, you know, so many people think that everyone thinks that way, but it's not true. Like most people are just like, oh yeah, you know, I like AEW more than WWE, but I don't hate WWE. Like it's fine. It's just not for me. Like that's like, and you know, and then vice versa. And people say that, but like on the internet, you would think that like these people like with pitchforks and torches coming to your house because you like WWE over AEW or vice versa. And it's not like that, but it's like, that's not real life. And you know, a lot of the people that are the biggest tribalists out there, they don't go to these shows. They don't buy tickets. Right. They don't care. Like that's what I always say. Like I'm not I'm not pandering to you. I'm not pandering to the internet. I'm pandering to the people that buy the tickets. Come see my merch line. Come see the people that want to take pictures with me before or during, after the show. They're not on Twitter. They're not on Twitter calling me names or calling me evil or vile or this, that, and the other. It's like you just think that they think that their opinion matters. It doesn't matter. Put your name to it. Put your face to it. Let's see what you really look like. Now let me hear your opinion. Now I'll give you the time of day. But it's absolutely the dregs of society and the internet, and they think that they're someone and they're not. They're all absolutely just completely horrible people.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. I couldn't agree with you more. You've recently, we'll go back to the wrestling, which is the most important thing, the most positive thing.
Yes.
You've had two very, very different opponents lately. One of them, Microman.
Well, no, he was my partner.
Oh, sorry, he was your partner. Sorry.
Yeah, he was my partner.
What was it like teaming up with him? Because I mean, that visual just on paper, instantly,
Yeah. So, Microman, I met him. He came in the building, and when I heard the idea, Ricardo Rodriguez, who runs Three Legacies Wrestling and does a great job up in the Lancaster, Pennsylvania area. Lancaster, Lebanon, like southern central Pennsylvania, has really built an awesome territory there and an awesome company. So when he told me the idea that he had, I was all for it. I'm like, oh, this is a great visual, right? And it'd be great pictures. So I met Microman. He walked in, and I went up to him, and I was like, hey, pleasure to meet you, sir. How are you? And I didn't realize he no English, like whatsoever. Okay. So he just kind of was looking like straight up at me and just like smiling. So like, fortunately, though, Ricardo was able to come over and help, and we as we were talking the match over and all that, and he was great. We kind of communicated through head nods and little movements, and we got each other. But that was fun. That picture was great. The crowd loved it. It's just a thing to show that, like, not every crowd wants the 30-minute work rate match. Not every crowd wants the technical masterpiece. We went out there. We had a silly little 6-man, big pop when I put him on my shoulders, big pop when he did his little 619 thing, and big pop at the end when we got the pin, and and that's wrestling. That's that's what I always say is, like, on that show, there was some high flying, there was some lucha, there was some technical wrestling. Then you had us in the comedy type match. There's places for that. And it's like, but people want to shit all over it and think that, all wrestling is like, oh, it's going to be 25-minute technical mat-based masterpieces. And it's like, the normal person doesn't want to see that. So, so that was fun when we were out there, and we got the crowd into it just by really just standing there. I'm just seeing the difference between me and Microman. That's all you needed. That's all they wanted. It can be, this wrestling can be one of the most simple things. It really can. A lot of people like to overcomplicate what wrestling is. At the end of the day, especially on indie shows, TV is a different story, but if we're talking independent wrestling, the crowd wants to be involved. If you just involve them somehow, you get them into it, you get them part of it. That's what they want. That's why they go to these shows. They want to be involved. They don't want to be ignored like they're going to a TV, right? It's like, we want to be part of this. Like you're going to see a band at a club or something, right? And there's like 300 people there. It's more intimate. It's more, they're going to bring you in a little bit more. That's the same thing with independent wrestling. So you do that. I mean, you don't got to do much. If you just involve them, they love it. They want it. They want that. So it's a cheat code. I tell a lot of people.
Like, I always compare wrestling shows. Sorry, it's almost like going to a festival, because you get all these different types of bands, different types of acts. This is exactly the same with a wrestling show. You can have the comedy matches, you can have the 30-minute, technical masterpieces, you can have intergender matches, hardcore you can have everything.
Yeah,
that's what makes it so fun.
And some of the best shows are like that, as the people walk away. Because if, like, every match is a 20-minute technical match, it's like, ugh. If every match is a comedy match, people are like, all right, well, like, if every match is a hardcore match, like, I've seen everything. Every match is high flying, I've seen everything. But the best shows are the ones that are like, okay, here, match 1, high flying, high octane, quick match. Match 2, okay, we're gonna have a an intergender match here. Match 3, all right, we're going to do more of a comedy match. Match 4, okay, this will be more of the technical match. Match 5 will be the big guys. Match 6. When you have matches like that, or you have shows like that, everybody gets a little bit of each. And you don't get sick of it, any of it.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, I saw everything. I saw, like, one of the better shows that I was on recently was Beyond for their Heavy Lies of the Crown, Beyond Wrestling in Worcester, Mass, on New Year's Eve this past year. And that's how it was. That's how Drew drew it up, and he had matches placed specifically throughout the night that, you had a females would wrestle here. The women's wrestling in this match. Okay, then it's me and CPA. Little more comedy there. Okay, then you have an intergender with Zeta Steele versus Dustin Waller here, and then it all culminated to the main event, which was a death match with Marcus Mathers and Cruel. So everybody got a little bit of everything. There was 9 matches total. So there was others, but everybody got a little bit of everything. And so it was like everyone kind of leaves happy. If every match was a death match, sure, maybe some people would enjoy it, but I bet you the majority of people would be like, I've seen this a bunch. You don't need blood in every match. It would have killed the main event if every match was a death match. So and again, nothing against any of those those types of wrestling at all. Like I respect everybody. Like you said, not every type of wrestling's for you. Not every type of wrestling's for me. I'm not going to shit on it. I'm not going to say they're worse or they're bad or they don't know what they're doing. It's just not always for me. And that's how a lot of people think. But it's like, hey, I can watch it now and then. I'm not a big deathmatch guy, but I love the match with Cruel and Marcus Mathers because they told a hell of a story there. He's been chasing Cruel for a year or so, and the story was there. And then it was a big blow off blood feud match. And that was great. That was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. One of my favorite matches I watched in person. They really they pulled out all the stops for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's what I like in wrestling. A little bit of everything. And it really helps the whole card.
And I brought up Michael Mann because he was so different to another opponent, which was the Nic Nemeth match. Who's also is like, one of those super worker type deals, and he's had that reputation for, oh God, must be about 15 years or something now, what was it like facing him?
Dude, when I found out I was facing him, I was just so elated. Like, it's a cool thing. A thing in wrestling a lot is that we get caught up in like, oh, we're not signed yet. Oh, we haven't got our big break yet. Like, when's that going to happen? And you don't really sit and appreciate like the cool little things that we're able to do. And this is one of them. Right. So like when I got in the ring and and he was coming down, it didn't really hit me until like he stepped through the ropes. And I'm just like, holy shit, man. Like, this is cool. This is cool. Like, how am I here right now? I get it. It's not Madison Square Garden. It's not like this big giant arena. It's not in WWE or AEW or TNA or whatever. But still, it's just like I'm still getting the opportunity to work with a guy who I watched for 15 years in WWE. And I've always been a big fan of his. And I just think that, having this opportunity and getting to do that, especially in a place where I started at ACW in Maryland, was just it's invaluable. And it's just something that like I'll always hold like so dear, is like that I had that opportunity, which again, not a lot of people get these opportunities, like, to wrestle, to be in a wrestling match with a guy you watched for years, and still at a level where he can go, right? He's not just like old decrepit, just like not some like blow off tag match or something where he doesn't do anything, but we were able to have a great match. It was an honor to work with him. I hope I can get that opportunity again. If not, I'll always hold that memory, I'll always be so fond of that, because it's truly one of those things. You got to just sit back and enjoy the small wins, which wrestlers have a very hard time doing.
I'll get on to the cool thing about that match now. But there's two people that he was usually compared to. The selling was usually, say, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, and Shawn Michaels. And it's weird that he was kind of compared to Shawn Michaels, and your favorite wrestler growing up
Yeah.
was Kevin Nash. And
Mhm.
when you watch that match, it really does have some of those similarities between their matches as well.
Mhm.
What was it about Kevin Nash that drew you to him straight away?
You know, again, when I started watching wrestling, I started watching WCW at about like 98, 99.
Hmm.
Is when I didn't really watch WWE. I knew like Hulk Hogan, because I just
Yeah.
obviously everybody kind of did. And I knew like I've heard of like The Rock and Stone Cold, but I didn't watch WWE. I watched WCW for at least 6 months before I even watched WWE. And I just remember seeing Kevin Nash, and I was always a big kid. I was always big.
Hmm.
So I was always bigger than everybody in my classes, all that. So when I see this guy come through the curtain and with the long hair and the swagger and, the all built muscles and just, I can tell obviously he's 7 feet tall and you're just like, oh man, like this guy's cool as hell. Like this is cool. Like no pun intended. Like that's what I want to. Like I just was. I didn't care any moves that he did. Just seeing him
Right.
walk to the ring with all of that aura that he had, and I'm like, this is awesome. And then of course you watch him and it's fun. And like I always loved his work. I know people like to shit all over Kevin Nash for being a bad worker. He's not. He's one of the smartest guys in the wrestling business of all time. So like you can't ever take that away from him. But yeah, I saw him and I'm like, the hair flip, and I'm like, oh, this is what I want. This is what I want to be, And I'm like, me just being kind of like a awkward, like chubbier kid, and I'm like, oh man, I probably never get to be that type of guy. Then I played basketball and all that, and I was like, but man, I still want to be Kevin Nash. Like I don't want to play basketball. I'd rather be Kevin Nash. And so I kind of emulated when I first started. That's who I really like honed in on and watched, right? Because I still think he's one of the best working big men of all time. Again, whatever you want to think about him, that's whatever people want to think about him, that's fine. But the proof is in the pudding, right? I mean, he was in some of the most high profile angles, matches. So anytime he's at a show, the line's out the door for him.
Yeah.
Like he's still remembered to this day, always will be. And you know what? And that's not any schlub. That doesn't just happen to any normal schlub. Like you got to be somebody. And so yeah, he will forever be my favorite wrestler. Not and no one's ever taken that spot.
There's I don't know why it started, that kind of theory that he's not a good worker. I don't know where that came from, because for me,
I have a theory. I can tell
yeah,
you
okay,
why.
yeah, sure,
I can tell you why. It's because he never caved to that newer fan. So
right,
he never caved to like, and then his TNA gimmick when he was calling everyone vanilla midgets and he was calling
yeah,
so now he's like kind of shitting on that and he's
right,
making fun of. So I think a lot of people got worked into a shoot there,
mm,
and that he really doesn't like that type of wrestling, even though I've talked to Alex Shelley before about, and he's like, oh, I loved working with Kevin Nash. He's like, it was great.
yeah,
He's like, like that guy who like all the internet fans love, a guy like Alex Shelley. And he's like, oh yeah, it was so much fun. Like I had a blast. And it's like he was doing it for a character. And I think also his nonchalant attitude pisses a lot of fans off. How he's just like,
yeah,
whatever, man. I mean, it's wrestling. I don't care. Like it's just,
yeah,
I'll get paid and I leave. Whatever. Like people
yeah,
for some reason don't like that. And it's like, hey, have you ever worked a job before in your life? Did you
yeah,
love every single job you did? Were you out there just like, all for the company that hired you, and you're like, I would do this for free. Like I'll do this job, I'll stock shelves for free. I don't care. This is the best. I love Stop and Shop. It's the best organization in the world. No, you probably didn't like the job. You just did it for money. So why is it any different when a wrestler just does it for money? Why do they have to be the biggest fan of wrestling? If they can do it and people are willing to invest in them and they have the look and they have the ability and they can do it, why do they need to be like a savant for wrestling? Why can't they just do their job and go home? So I think that also was the reason why everybody was like, screw Kevin Nash. He doesn't care about wrestling. But my guy cares about money.
yeah.
He has a job and he wants to do it and he wants to go home. What is wrong with that? Nothing.
No. there's two matches that always stand out for me for Kevin Nash. They were in a relatively small period of time as well, and I know they're against two of the greatest of all time. So you'll get people arguing about that. But there was one match at Survivor Series '95 against Bret Hart.
Bret Hart, yeah,
Bret
it's a
Hart
great
win.
match. Yep.
And then the No Holds Barred match at In Your House 7 against Shawn Michaels. And to this day, it's still one of my favourite matches of all time. And it's not just Shawn Michaels wrestling a broom.
No,
it's not.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash plays that part perfectly in that match.
He played his part. Exactly. I actually, if watching you watched the match with Nic Nemeth, I called that finish to him, where it was, I was gonna go for my finisher, which is like a variation of the Dominator, and I put him in the power bomb position, and he kept falling, and then the third time, boom, small package.
Yep.
This time I kicked out, super kick, zigzag, and that was the finish. But I love that finish, especially at Survivor Series '95.
Yeah,
with Nash and Bret Hart. I think Bret's one of the best of all time for working with big men too, and he's made big men look great. And I think right after him, I mean, Nic Nemeth's pretty damn close to him, because he's one of the best workers that I've ever been in the ring with. Probably one of the top I've ever been in the ring with. And talk about guys like Macklin, Riddle. So I've been in the ring with some really good people. But Nemeth was just he's something else, man. The guy's a stud. But yeah, no, I really when it comes down to Kevin Nash matches, like the Survivor Series match stands out. I've watched that a ton. A lot of his stuff with Shawn I've watched. I loved some of his stuff with Taker as well. I think they had some pretty good big man matches. But really when it comes to Nash, it's about more like moments. It's like just the moments with him. When he darted Rey Mysterio into the trailer, when obviously all the NWO stuff, then into his TNA stuff. So that's what it was always with me. It was the promos, the moments. That's what always stands out.
But those little bits as well. I'm glad you mentioned that, because they're things that I do notice in your comedy videos as well, which obviously works hand in hand with the wrestling as well. When Kevin Nash would say dress up as the Grand Wizard, or when he was in TNA doing those silly things, you could see hints of him in your work in the little videos and in the wrestling as well. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate you noticing that. I mean, that's the thing is you watch, DX, the Click. They all made these jokes. Right, you look at guys like Talking Shop, like Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson. They make a lot of jokes like I make, right? Look at BTE as a whole. It was a whole skit show, So when people make fun of me, like, are you a content creator, or are you a TikToker, or are you a wrestler? I hate when wrestlers make content. And then I look at their profile, and it has the Young Bucks are their profile picture. I'm like, did you not watch BTE? Yeah. Is that were you just forgetting that 6 years of that happening just didn't exist? It's insane to me. But yeah, no, I love to I love that type of humor that they all had. I think it's just hysterical. I think wrestling is so much fun, but also so much fun to poke fun at. If you can't, you should take the wrestling serious, because at the end of the day, if you get in the ring and you're untrained and you're some crappy worker and you're the drizzling shits, that's a problem and you're not taking it serious enough. But if you start taking yourself too serious and you start acting like you're some Billy Badass and you're really believing your own hype, and you think, it's come on, dude, you got to know what this is. And so it's that's the type of stuff I poke fun at, is people that have a big head, or the carny promoters that want to cheat people out of money, or just the some other ones that I do is the old vet that feels the need to impart wisdom on everybody that no one asked for, that type of silly stuff. And wrestlers get it, but then people on the outside looking in think I'm making fun of everybody. Yeah. It's no, it's comedy. It's come on, dude. Have you watched The Simpsons or Family Guy? You see how they portray? Look at Comic Book Guy. How's Comic Book Guy portrayed as? This is something that the IWC gets mad at when I do the troll fan. They're like, why are you making us all look like losers? I'm like, have you watched Simpsons Comic Book Guy? Like, look what he looks like. Look how he talks. Like, look, it's like, I'm not the first one doing this. Like, it's not like, come on, dude. Like, Jesus, like, just laugh. It's supposed to be fun. We're not being malicious. We're having fun. It's so again and again. People think all I do is make fun of independent wrestlers. Dude, you know this. You saw your favorite video is the one where I'm making fun of myself. I make fun of myself more than anyone.
Yeah.
I shit on myself all the time because I'm like, that's silly what we do. It's silly, but it should be fun. We should all be having a good time. It's theater. It's combat theater. We're a bunch of theater kids running around in our underwear. That's what we are. So just let it just have fun with us with it. Have fun. That's all it's supposed to be.
You're probably gonna end up breaking the internet, and it's sorted a load of people again and again with one of the matches that you've got announced. It's the Jack Vaughn and Brian Myers match. So how do you think that match is going to go? And two, what's the cage match rating going to be? It's surely going to be really high.
God. I mean, I'm going to spam cage match and just I'm going to make a bunch of different emails and user accounts and just rate that match as the highest rated match in cage match history. That's going to be a blast. I think it's been a long time coming that somebody hasn't put me and Jack Vaughn in the ring together yet. I don't know why it's taken some promoters so long. It's kind of like, it just makes sense. And then adding like an OG internet guy, like a Brian Myers, who obviously is involved with Cardona and that crew. It just makes perfect sense. So I have no idea how it's going to go. I absolutely no clue, but I am very much looking forward to that. Squared Circle Expo is a great time. It's run by a former wrestler, awesome dude, one of the least carny promoters I've ever worked for. Well, he'll tell you he's carny. He's not. He's all talk. He's not really a carny. He's a great guy, Ed Gonzalez, and so he runs a great show every year. They do. I mean, it's packed. And this year, which I'm really looking forward to, is that now I have a little bit more of a name than I did last year when I was there. A few people would come up to me and be like, "Oh, I saw your videos." But now it's I have more people following me, and I think I'm really excited to kind of be there. Definitely make some content with some other wrestlers as well, whoever wants to, whoever finds me funny. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a hell of a weekend. That match. I've got some good stuff planned, and I think the boys will be interested in partaking, so it'll be good.
You seem to have two people there that they're gonna play into it. There's not gonna be any egos in that match at all.
No, dude, never. I always
go for it.
The first thing I said on Twitter when that match was announced, I was like, "This match was made just to pop the boys. It's not even for it's not for the fans. They might enjoy it, but even the guy, a buddy reached out and he goes, "Oh, dude, that's gonna be a what do we call it? A locker room sellout. Like it's gonna, everyone's just gonna be watching that one because it's gonna be fun. I mean, I am looking forward to it's a match that I've been looking forward to for a while. So me and Jack, and then of course, I don't want to downplay like the Brian Myers being a part of it. He just is like icing on the cake. So we'll that's one that I need to have filmed and needs to be out there.
With we mentioned Kevin Nash earlier. Kevin Nash obviously got into movies and things, and I know you've also done acting as well. Name some of the roles that you've done so far, and do you have any projects coming up?
Yeah, so nothing too crazy. So I have done Young Rock, where I was wrestler number 2 in a battle royal. But I still got I have my own dressing room, which was really cool, in a trailer, which was pretty fun. It just said wrestler number 2 on it. But you know what? Hey, I'll take it. And I've done 2 WWE 2K commercials, where the one last year I was actually Hulk Hogan. So if you go back and you see whoever ripping the shirt, they put his face over me, AI. But it was my body and my actions. So that was awesome. And then what was the other thing I just did? Oh yeah, this year's WWE 2K commercial. I was the Undertaker silhouette. So if you see it in the commercial, you see Undertaker coming through the gate. That's me.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm in the background. You can't really see me in much of the rest of the commercial. I put a video out of what it looked like for the behind the scenes. But I'm like behind Rhea Ripley, and when she runs by, you can kind of see me a little bit. Me and Luke Curtis. But the Undertaker was me. And then I also have I played myself in a rom-com where I am the bad guy, and it has a little to do with wrestling. So I was involved. Not sure when that's coming out. We filmed it last September.
Was
It's
that
called Gentle
Gentle Giant?
Gentle Giants. You
Yeah.
got it. Yeah. So I played myself, and hoping it comes out soon. I know with independent movies, it sometimes can take a while. My buddy told me he did one, and it took 2.5 years to come out. I'm hoping this one comes out because you want to try to get it into festivals and all that. So they're all doing that in the back. I'm not involved in any of that stuff. So they're a great team, really great team there. And Defiant Lens is their production company. I've done a few things with them, and then I just auditioned, and we spoke about this a little bit. I just auditioned for a new role in a new commercial. Can't disclose too much about it, but it is wrestling. Wrestling is involved. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get that. That would film towards the end of April. So hoping I get that. And let me tell you, an acting and the pay is 10 times better than the pay in independent wrestling. So I get why people want to go into acting because it's so funny. I'll go to like one of these shoots and it's like catering and all this food, and they're paying for your hotel and your flight and then they're giving you actually pay after that. And they're like, hey, everything okay? You good? You need a coffee, a water, anything? No, I'm good. I'm good. You go to a wrestling show, you pull up to the building, there's nothing. There's half empty bottles of water. There might be a bag of chips that like 3 guys can share. You're sitting there for 6-7 hours. No one's asking you how you're doing. The building's uncomfortable. There's no couches. There's no chairs. There's nothing. You're getting paid. Like I said, 10 times less than what you get paid for the commercial, and you're there longer for the day. It's unbelievable. But so that's why I'm trying to do more. And like, if I can get like 1 or 2 commercials a year, I mean, the money's great. So I would do that in a heartbeat.
What's the plans for the wrestling for the rest of the year?
Man, here's how I look at it. I take each day by day. So a lot of people, I want to do more Bob Furio matches. That's number one. But I take everything really, day by day, and I don't get caught up into like I need to be signed now or I need this or I need that. Like I'd love to get signed. I'd love to be signed by WWE, AEW, TNA. That'd be great, right? But when it comes down to it, I just want to have fun. I got a match coming up with Matt Riddle. You see that there. I got a match coming up with him June 6th. I thought I killed Cruel on that suplex. But yeah, I got a match with Riddle coming up June 1st in South Carolina. So like little things like that. I got a few other really exciting things coming up and some exciting promotions like Awesome Championship Wrestling in Poughkeepsie, New York. And just like really want to just continue enjoying all this because it can all end tomorrow. It can all end tomorrow. I can, something, knock on wood, something drastic could happen. And, it could be like, I can't do this anymore. So I just want to enjoy it as I'm still young and I'm still relatively healthy. There's bumps and bruises and backs and knees and all that. But I really told myself, like, over the past 2 years, I've said to myself, you just gotta control what you can control. Like if somebody doesn't want to invest in you and doesn't think you have it to make it to the next level, hey, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I've been doing some cool stuff that not a lot of people can say they did. Like I've met some people that I idolized. I've shared locker rooms with them. I've had so much fun meeting awesome people, building friendships, going to cool places, and that's just actually being able to have a creative outlet, which I never had before. I always considered myself a creative guy, and I always tried to find something that could work for me. And I never really had that creative outlet, and having it now and being able to do that has been amazing. Really good for mental health. Really good for keeping me busy, giving me a hobby. And I will give it my all. I'll give it 100%. I'll try to get to the next level. But again, if it never gets there and we just can say, hey, 10 years go by and I'll say, hey, what? I had fun. And I can always say, I can never tell myself I didn't do it. And I won't ever do the hindsight of like, I should have done it. I could have done it. And when it's all said and done, I can look back and tell 8-year-old Ben like, hey, 35-year-old Ben's cool as shit. Like you would love 8-year-old Ben would love 35-year-old Ben and think he's the coolest guy in the world. Just because like I loved wrestling and I always wanted to do it, and finally I did it. Sacked up and did it. And so I always tell people do it for that little kid. Like, do it for that kid, the kid that always loved wrestling. Like, and then just anything you do, that kid would think is the coolest thing in the world. So just do that. And that's my mindset now. Is like I'm doing it for my inner child. And it makes me think about this stuff a lot differently, and makes me appreciate it a lot more.
Ben, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, mate.
I know
you've got something else coming up very, very soon, looking at the time, so I will let you go. But yeah, thank you for spending, a good 50 minutes with me here, going through, some of the things in your career. Hopefully in a year's time, we'll have a whole new podcast, and there'll be so many more highlights that we'll be able to
absolutely
bring up in different clips and things like that.
This has been a blast. Like I say, I always pick podcasts, and I look at like the production and how professional you are, and I appreciate that out of you, because I don't do every podcast. Sometimes I think people just do podcasts to talk to their favorite wrestlers or some wrestlers, right? And I think, but you put the time in for the production, cool backgrounds. See, that's what you got to do, and I appreciate that. So thank you. It was an absolute honor and a pleasure to be on.
No problem at all. Right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I think you'll agree that was another pretty good podcast that we had today. We've got a few more podcasts coming up this week. Some people you probably wouldn't suspect that would be on this channel, but yeah, so keep an eye out. We've got some pretty cool things coming up. Thank you, guys. Please leave a comment down below. Check out Big Ben on all the different platforms out there. Make sure you like all these videos as well. But as always, guys, look after each other, and peace.